Hi everybody.
This is Paul and this is Simon, and we are in HOFA Studios here in Karlsdorf. And today we are gonna do a workshop about keyboard tracks.
Yes, that's the plan.
Simon is gonna cover the more traditional way with live tracking, recording.
True.
And I'm gonna be the more technical part within the DAW in the box. Gonna talk about a lot of MIDI stuff, MIDI effects in Ableton. Gonna show you how I produce and how I write music without touching ever the keyboard. And in addition to that, how I use keyboard auxiliary to my workflow and not based on it, but there are still things like inspiration I can draw from it, and so I want to talk about how this affects my workflow.
That sounds amazing. Thanks for the short introduction. So as Paul already mentioned, we try to cover different approaches for keyboard tracks today. So it's not only the producing part, but something like shaping the sounds, a little bit of sound design maybe, the MIDI way, the traditional way, working with audio tracks, working with external controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So you brought a controller and I brought something similar to that. So let's see what actually happens.
Yes, Simon is going to start.
Yeah, if it's okay for you, I'll take over.
Absolutely. He's
Cool.
going to play something
Yep.
from a project.
Yep, it's actually a song from, I think, 10 or 11 years ago. So I actually had quite a hard time to come up with the tracks and everything that I did back then to actually recover the project and what I did, because we used a lot of analog stuff and digital stuff as well, but many external synthesizers
and then
and
it's
sounds.
It's hard to get back the sounds.
Exactly. So, but most of them that we are going to talk about are there, and we can use them. I wasn't able to recreate the drums, but it's not about the drums today, so I'm lucky. Yeah, and yeah, I think my approach on this track is it shows some of the most common sounds like pads and arps and a little bit of sound effects that might go on in the production. Before we cover the more rock and maybe the metal tracks for today that I also brought in for this session, I too focused on a more electronic song.
Don't you say?
Yeah, exactly. And before there's too much talking, I would say we start right away with a song called A Foreign World. And here we go, let's have a listen first.
Yes.
That's the track.
Ooh, I like that pad.
I'll stop here. Yeah, it's a very atmospheric track. And as you mentioned, you really like the pad. So I'm glad.
I like the sound design overall. I love
that's cool.
the guitar, the reverbs.
Yep.
Very fitting. Overall.
Exactly. So although we are actually more a rock, progressive rock, metal band, whatever, we have some electronic elements going on. And usually it's up to the keyboard player to do all the sounds and sound design and shaping. So as we all know, in the studio, there are almost no boundaries and you can come up with everything that you have in mind. When it comes to playing live on stage,
there are limitations.
There are limitations. It might not be possible to recreate everything from the studio. So, of course, when we play this track live, I have to work with a backing track that will cover most of the arps that we hear in the background, and the drums, of course, because it's electronic drums that are going on. But all the vocals, the guitars, and some of the pads are played live. So it's a mixture of everything. And yeah, I took some short extracts for today's session. I think it's like 80, 90 or 100 tracks, including all the reverbs and the sounds and the automation stuff that happens. But let's take a look at the actual sounds here in the DAW.
And all the keys are played by you?
Yes, exactly. So I have to be honest, I also use a little bit of MIDI tracks for the programming.
No shame in that.
Not only for the drums, but also for the arps. But what I did is that after recording and creating the MIDI tracks, I did some sequencing. So I use external gear, some internal synths as well. I think we had a little bit of Omnisphere and a little bit from stock Cubase, if I remember right. But a lot of external gear from Oberheim to Yamaha to sequential, some vintage stuff as well. I'm very used to vintage sounds. That's why I chose this example, as you can hear it. And so if we take a look at the colors, the purple colors are all pads, the green colors are the arps, and the orange one is something special. So we already heard the main pad. It's actually the basis of the song. So everything is, let's say, placed around this pad.
Was it also the first thing you wrote?
Yeah, exactly. So I can show you. I have it here because that's what I actually play live when we play this song live on stage.
With exactly this keyboard?
Exactly. Yep. No, it's. I think it was a Yamaha Motive 6 from 2005. And I sampled this sound and tried my best to have it sound like this in my actual live workstation, which is the one that I brought.
You designed this pitch, or was it a preset?
No, it was a preset, but I did some tweaking here and there. I used some EQing and I used some reverbs and some shimmering that I will show you later on as well. Okay, but here is it. So as you can hear, we have a basic pad sound, but also some motion going on in the background.
I love the bassiness and how it's full and round. It doesn't have sharp edges.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweeping motion.
Quite mellow, but a little bit of a sweeping motion to keep everything in drive. And that was actually my approach for this one. So halfway through, there is another pad sound. So this will add some extra atmosphere.
It's like also rather mellow, has a bit of bass in it.
Yep, exactly.
That creates this big feeling.
True. And although there are some drums already doing their thing in the background, I tried to add some more motion by bringing in the first arp. So It doesn't sound very spectacular on its own, but it does the job when it's combined with everything else that's going on.
That's how good layering works. Kind of sounds like a ringtone.
Yep, exactly. Sounds like a cell phone ringtone from the mid-2000s or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Some vintage vibes going on. Okay, all together. The cool thing is, it's only 3 tracks.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think it already sounds killer. It sounds
Because
huge.
it has so much movement in it.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the pads covering all the gaps between sounds, and then we have the motion and the motion from the pad in the background coming in. So yeah, it sounds quite intense already, and I really, really like the transition from the intro section to the actual first ARP that comes into play. So if we listen to the end of the intro section here, and now,
Yeah.
that's also the part when the guitar kicks in. In the whole production, we have, as you mentioned and noticed, which makes me very proud actually, the guitar with a lot of reverb, with a lot of delay and some sound design, and yeah, that's really cool. So they blend really well into each other, and yeah, I have some shimmering effects as well. I have this pad, which I think it's yeah, I named it as a pearl pad because it not only has the pad sound, but it's so shimmering pearls that are going on.
Let's have a listen. Oh, I definitely see why it's called pearls.
So the actual pad doesn't have that much of a sustain or release, but the pearls that are combined with this pad, they keep on sounding when the pad stops. And I think that's really cool if we listen to the whole part here. So
it leads into the next chord.
Exactly.
Very
To have
smoothly.
a great transition, I thought leaving the pearl pad consistent until it fades out. Although there are some chord changes already, I think it changes from C to F, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I love the modulation, by the way.
Thank you so much. And to make it sound more interesting, not only by modulation but also by the sounds, I decided to add some sustain and some increase the value for the release for this pearl pad to have a good amount of transition and some more time, because this song is about time and space.
Yeah. And it feels like it also. Another great thing, because the pearly stuff, the shimmery stuff is so high, it doesn't clash with the lower frequencies of the harmonies.
Absolutely. And that's a really, really important point, because frequency response is something very important, so you don't have too much clashes. As you may have seen, I have a bass verse pad as well. We are going to listen to it soon, but if there's too much going on, it's only the track, so it's not a real mix here. It's just to show what the different tracks are and what they sound like. But if you have it in the mix, you can work with dynamic EQs, but you can also decide when arranging the song, what does the low end do, what does the high end do, and something like a pearl or a shimmer effect is probably something that you would focus on in the more balanced frequencies, in the mids, in the highs, maybe not so much in the lows.
Yeah, because it then gets muddy very fast.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the energy increases, and when it comes to mastering, you might have to put everything down to not cause any distortions. So, yeah, you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I mean, a good audio engineer who makes music does think about the mix in the production stage.
True.
Every decision influences the rest down the line. And if you can avoid problems, you don't have to fix them later in the mix.
Absolutely. So
Fix it in the mix is
always a bad thing.
always a
So
bad thing, yeah.
it's the same with classic audio recording. So if you set up some microphones, just watch for the signals, not being them too hot, but also not too less. So there won't be too much noise in the end that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And use some room acoustic treatments and everything will be fine. So it's similar in a different approach in this world as well. Okay, let's listen to the actual verse. Maybe just to have a little bit of a reminder, I play the original one, and then we go into the sounds.
A foreign world, an unknown place for the new believer. Out of time and out of space, is it me or some strange deceiver?
Okay, and so on. So let's have a listen to, I think, almost all the sounds are already part of the game here.
We hear the sweeping, the arpeggiating.
Absolutely, we have still the main pad. The pearls don't play any role anymore.
The ringtone is also
the
gone.
the ringtone, exactly. And here the bass verse pad. Yeah, at some
yeah.
low end energy.
It is.
Yeah.
I love the brassy vibe.
Yeah, yeah. That was my intention. Another one, pad verse. Ah,
This one is interesting.
yeah. Way different.
Feels a bit formanty.
Yeah. As you can see here.
But it fills in another gap.
Yeah.
Fits
So,
perfectly.
yeah. So that's something that I thought it's almost always about try and error. Of course, we know a little bit about audio engineering and sound
Yeah.
design and so on, but let's be honest. It's like being a child in the studio, and then you have different soundscapes, you have different sounds and synthesizers and whatever, and you just play around. And sometimes it works, and if it doesn't work, you try to find a solution, or you go to the next sound, or sometimes you create a sound, a unique sound, a signature sound. So yeah, there's nothing wrong about using presets or any sounds that are already really, really great. What I did with the ARPs here, it's totally fine. But as mentioned, I tried to tweak the pads a little bit to make them work in the context in the end.
Absolutely, I agree. Presets are fine to use.
Yeah.
Make them your own. I mean, if you just put a preset and basic chords, there's not much work being done.
Yeah.
But if you make it your own, integrate it into your production, then it's completely fine. No
True.
one's going to notice, even the consumer won't, definitely.
Absolutely. That's why there are presets.
Yeah.
Why not using them?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And most of the time, people have poured a lot of intention into it,
Mhm.
and they're preset designers that know what they do. So might as well use the resource you have.
It's always a good way to start.
Yeah.
To get some ideas and then move forward. Okay, we have 3 ARPs in the verse. This one.
Very sweepy once again.
Yep.
Is
And-
it a phaser, flame?
Yeah, exactly. There's some modulation going on, both of it.
Both.
Both.
Oh yeah.
both. Yeah. I didn't hold back. And
No
then,
need.
then we have an ARP that I panned, I think, 70 or 80% to the left side. Very slow, very consistent, almost a little bit bell-esque.
It reminds me of a clock. like-
Clock, exactly. Yeah. So it's about time, and I tried to add this ticking.
Yeah,
Ticking
makes
a little
sense.
bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The theme of time.
But
And
not
is there
too
a
fast.
response on the right?
Yep. So there is another one.
Also very driving, clock-like.
So the other one, both. And we have that.
They don't
squeaky
even
one.
feel like two, they
Yep.
feel like one.
Yep, exactly. But if you mute one of them, something is missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And I have one special track which is not a typical keyboard track, but I would say it kind of belongs to the world of keyboards.
Also played with keyboard?
Yeah, what was it? I think it was an analog one. I think a Minilogue, maybe a Minilogue, the old one, Korg Minilogue. I'm not quite sure. I actually don't remember.
Yeah,
But,
it was
yeah.
12 years ago, you said?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's
11 years.
Natural to not remember.
Exactly. A lot of things have happened since then, but yeah. Okay, here it is. Going from left to right.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so wind, kind of weather effects. Yeah, which shall bring something special to the table as well. So here's the whole sequence where you can hear it.
A foreign mind and not on face, awaking new desire.
Vocal delays, obviously, and so on. So yeah, and that's actually a short sequence of the song. I think it's 6 to 7 minutes long. There's a guitar solo, a keyboard solo, and but I wanted to focus on the actual typical keyboard sounds like pads, like arps, and something special like this wind-esque whoosh. I named it whoosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
why not?
whoosh.
It's a whoosh.
Exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, that's something like an introduction into my world and what was going on in my mind.
Did you
Yeah.
play all the keys live, or did you record MIDI and then put it through the synthesizer again?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, yeah. I played most of the pads. I didn't play any of the arps, obviously, but I think I just recorded the actual track like an E or an F sharp or a C, which is played, and then made a MIDI sequence out of it, and did some sequencing and used the MIDI tracks to feed the external gear and then re-record the audio.
Yeah, for arpeggiators, it only
absolutely.
makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about arpeggiating too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a special like workflow type of thing in
Cool.
Ableton.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, shall
Sure,
I
if
continue?
you're ready, I'm done for
ready.
now. So I will continue with layering sounds later on as a next step. But I would say I'll pass the torch over to you.
Thank
and
you.
you can
I
go
take
on.
it.
Amazing.
And I go on.
So it's all your turn.
So Simon used some MIDI. I'm using all MIDI. I've produced quite literally everything in the box. I do have an Ableton Push right here, which I use for inspiration, but I'm not really good at performing live, so I do basic ideas on the push, and then I transfer it to the computer, and I go into the MIDI editor, the piano roll, and I edit it, and then later I sound design it. For me, I'm not much of a classical musical guy. Most of my sound comes from sound design, so I'm quite okay with not writing ultra extensive sounds, extensive music, complex chords. I'm fine with the more simple stuff, and later I turn it into something that's interesting to listen to. So if we start with a blank page like this right here, you can see there are some tracks down here. That's an example for later. But if we have an empty MIDI track, oftentimes what I am going to do is I just create a MIDI track, 8 or 16 bars, I have it here. And the cool thing Ableton does, it helps you with keeping track of your scale. It has scale awareness with almost every possible audio and MIDI effect in Ableton. Up here you can choose which scale that would be. You can see here all the root notes and also a bunch of scales. Some more popular, minor major of course, Dorian, Mixolydian, Lydian, Phrygian and Locrian. These are scales most will know. The others are more experimental, and down here, some of them you might not even ever have heard of, like Iwatokumoi. These are Asian, Japanese style scales that are not often used, and especially not in pop music. But let's start easy with a minor. Let's go for E is fine. I guess it doesn't matter for now.
Is it one of your favorite keys?
Yeah,
Play
it's for me. It's not about the sound. It's more of a technical thing.
Oh, okay.
Because in electronic music, there's so much focus on sub bass,
Mhm.
and you're gonna want to keep your bass notes around from the lowest D to the A above that D.
Mhm.
And if you go anywhere higher or lower, the sub is either not going to be
Mhm.
accurately played by the sound system, or it's going to be too high to not have that impact. And so it's like E, F, G, G sharp. That's the scales I use most
Okay.
oftenly,
Mhm.
just because for technical reasons, because
Yeah.
the sub is best right there.
Okay. Well, that's a very own and unique and very good approach actually, because in my world, it all depends on the guitar and bass tunings. So if we have a guitar in standard tuning, we often chose E as well. But the example I'll show later on, we have C, I think we have B, and also F, if I'm not wrong, this little sequence. But we have some drop tunings as well. So it usually depends on the actual guitar or bass that the person plays. So we focus or base everything on that with a little bit of a different approach.
Yeah, that might be also a reason. I mean, I don't differentiate too much, but I kind of associate feelings with different root notes, and
Absolutely.
E is for me a
Very
very
good point.
warm scale.
Yeah.
Maybe because I associate it with guitar music, and guitar
Yeah.
music is often soothing and
Yeah.
more chill. Not
Yeah.
E-guitar, not metal, but
Yeah.
like acoustic guitar.
Absolutely. I exactly know what you mean. My favorite key is actually E flat.
Mm-hmm.
E flat. I think it sounds just warm, and you have everything and the related keys and the relative keys and everything in harmony and music theory that has to do with some certain rules that you can follow. All the keys that are related to E flat really sound beautiful to my ears.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to each his own, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not so much in A, for example. I'm not. Yeah, it's quite easy to play because you
A
don't
minor.
have any sharps or flats. A minor, for example. Yeah. A major is a little bit more complicated, but yeah. If we talk about the sound, I think E flat is really great sounding, and yeah, not so far away from the typical E. So E flat, it's only a half step.
Yeah.
Semitone.
Everyone his own, her own.
Yep.
For now, I just choose E minor. Two options I want to enable is highlight scale or even scale fold. One is just, you see in here in purple, all the notes that are in the scale of E minor. If you do the scale fold, every key except for the keys that are in E minor will disappear from the piano roll. So for every note you will put in, it will be in key.
Mm-hmm. Very clever.
Yeah, it's rather simple for you to work within the piano roll even without knowing much about music theory. You can just put in notes. Also, if you activate this little headphones icon right here. It will preview a note you put in. If that's deactivated, you will put it in without previewing it. That just helps with relative pitch. I know almost no one who's watching this will have perfect pitch, but if you enable this, you can like, okay, this is my third, so okay, this is my fifth. Makes sense.
So you try to build a chord.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And if you have the scale fold activated, then the simplest triad will be note, skip note, note, skip note, note.
E, G, B to have
That's
a typical triad in E minor, for
E
example.
minor, yeah. E minor triad.
Mhm.
If you want to go a bit above, you can have a 7.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Doesn't that sound great?
Absolutely. Seventh chords are great for shaping sound.
Oh, yeah. It has this kind of tension because the second is like a rubbing
Yep, exactly.
type-ish.
Yep.
Now I just put I might turn it down a bit. Now I just put it down an octave. Before that I raised the third and the seventh, 1 octave up. Now we have an open chord. Very easy.
Okay.
You can duplicate and like.
So you
Go a
won't
bit
only
down.
stay in the same octaves, but you try to spread everything to make it sound more interesting with an open chord.
Yeah.
That's a cool approach.
Yeah. I mean, closed chords, they have their place, most certainly. But open chords, they just lay a greater foundation to later work on because they cover a wider range of frequency.
Yep.
And because we have the scale fold activated, it's very easy. We just duplicate, put it a few tones down. Now we have a we have this. Very beautiful.
Cool.
Very
Is it
soothing.
C major 7? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
Maybe even down lower. Yeah.
It's very cool with the
Works.
harmonics. I think that sound is quite beautiful. So you have that almost pluck or bell sound, but with the harmonics, it makes it sound interesting. It could be a part of an R&B song, for example, from the 2000s.
Yeah. R&B
Sounds good.
also heavily utilizes seventh
Yep.
chords, ninth chords.
True.
And I mean, I didn't do almost anything. I just put in note, skip, note, skip, note, skip, note. Then I transposed the 3 and the 7 1 octave up.
Yeah.
Duplicated the whole chord 2 steps down, another time 2 steps down, another time 1 step up. Now we already have this.
The cool thing is that Ableton actually remembers the key. So you only have, as you mentioned before, the notes that are part of the scale. So if you use the E minor scale, you won't have an F, for example, because it's got to be F sharp. So it's easier to come up with triads or even seventh chords or whatever you have in mind.
It's super easy. You see on the left here the notes that are in the scale. You also see here on the push, instead of 13 keys, I have 7 keys, or 12 keys, I have 7 keys. These are all the keys in the scale. So if you have the push and you have Ableton and you select the scale, every note on the push
will be part of the key and the scale.
will be part of the scale. Exactly. I mean, not exactly if you...
Okay,
but
can do some tricks.
MPE, we will get to that soon.
Okay, cool.
But for now, this is all you have to know. It's very easy to create chords.
Okay.
Basic.
Okay.
Then you can move to create a melody on top. Then maybe some like transition notes. I hear it going up. and you could basically build a song around that if you
Absolutely.
if you maybe do like a second part where it slightly deviates, like maybe going up in the set. Da, da, like this. And now you have a song. Basic, very basic, to say the least, but it works.
Hmm.
If you want to then go ahead and arpeggiate it, you can load this Ableton device called Arpeggiator. It just, you see here up, it goes up the notes you play.
That's a really cool thing. So we talked about ARPs in the beginning, but what I can see is you didn't rearrange the actual MIDI notes,
Yeah.
but there's a pattern being played, and you give this pattern something like the time offset that the notes shall be played one by one and not all together.
Yep.
So you have a chord structure, but the notes are played one by one, and there's a little bit of an offset
Yeah.
between.
Ableton can actually do both. If you want to transform the MIDI directly, you just go into the piano roll, open the transform tab, and then arpeggiate. It's as simple as that. And then you just hit transform. Oops. Maybe you have to select all the notes so it works.
Yeah.
And then you can see right
Ah,
here.
okay. Mm-hmm.
You can then deactivate the arpeggiator and it just plays the arpeggiated notes.
Ah, okay. Cool. Yeah. Very nice to do it on the fly.
Yeah, but I like to do it as the MIDI effect more.
Yeah.
You can later still print it out. I will show you.
Okay, so you keep the basic chord structure as it is, and then you try to re-record it as the MIDI that we hear.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You can do that by just creating a new, not audio track, but MIDI track.
Mm-hmm.
Then selecting the one you want to record as the input. You can already see that there is going on MIDI right here. You see it there. The green bars are audio, the dotted red
Okay.
are MIDI, and it's 16 dots because you have 128
Mm-hmm.
MIDI values.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just go in here. You arm the track, not that one,
The green one,
the green
Yeah.
one.
the MIDI one.
You record, and you can see
Ah.
the MIDI being
Yeah,
printed
yeah, yeah.
there.
We can see it, and it's played one by one, not
Yeah.
all together. Ah, cool. Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is mildly useful. I mean, you could, as I said, you could just duplicate the clip and use the transform right here. But there are more advanced stuff you could do. That programming it by hand would be impossible, or not impossible, but so tedious you would spend days or weeks on it.
Yeah.
If we, for example, listen to this, not the whole thing. So what I do right now is I speed up the arpeggiating rate and slow it down.
So you do this live, and then it works like an automation if you want to keep it, or
I could record the automation,
okay.
but if I want to change anything in the MIDI after I recorded it, it would not be possible because it
okay.
only is there as the MIDI chords you see
Yeah,
right
sure.
there, and I have the automation.
Yeah.
But this is where it comes in handy to record the MIDI, because I can now, as you see, the MIDI
Oh, yeah.
slows down that's
Slows down.
recorded. And if we have a look in here, I mean, programming this in MIDI,
You can spend a few hours or days.
yeah, or weeks,
Yeah, if you have a lot of time.
is rather
Sure.
impossible to do.
But I guess that's one thing to use Ableton. One cool thing about Ableton to
Yeah.
do such things in real time, and to ease the process of songwriting and of playing around. Yeah.
Ableton has actually a lot of cool MIDI devices. So again, this is the normal arpeggiator. If you turn up the steps, it's going to play it and then play it a scale, an octave up.
Cool. Yeah.
And with the melody on top, there are now emerging some cool little accents.
Yep.
Here you control the distance, how much it goes up. If I put in 6 tritone, it's going to sound bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see why that would not be
Very
wanted.
experimental.
You
Some
can
people
also
might like it.
go down to -12.
Yep.
Here you have the gate. If you have it 50%, then you see right here, it's 1/16th note. And if you put the gate at 50%, it's going to play for the length of
I see.
32th note. Yeah. If you put it at 100, it's going to be seamlessly transitioning. If you put it all the way down.
Oh, wow.
Now it sounds like droplets, even like water.
Absolutely, like rainfalls, like raindrops, rain falling down.
What I didn't mention, there's a reverb on here. Of course, this is only a sine wave. Sounds rather unexciting.
What kind of reverb does it use?
This is the Ableton stock hybrid
Stock
reverb.
Oh, doesn't sound that bad. It's cool.
It's a blend of an algorithmic and an impulse response reverb.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called hybrid.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and this is just the basic preset. This is what loads if you open it.
Okay.
I didn't change it at all because I guess it's fine enough.
Absolutely.
This is only for showing purposes. No need to overcomplicate it.
If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Can use it.
As easy as that, yeah.
Sure.
But once again, I want to get back to the MIDI tools in Ableton. You can see on the left here in the browser, it says MIDI effects. This is where all of them are located. Let's get this back to 50% and put it to chord trigger. So now it plays the whole chord every time. Let's maybe slow it down. Just marching forward relentlessly. You can do it also with the steps. You can then put like a note length behind it. This same or similar to the gate. You can set the length for how long the MIDI note is going to be held and then scale it with the gate knob. One very cool effect is the note echo. It repeats the MIDI notes. It's like an
like
echo
a little
effect,
delay.
but it's MIDI data.
It's MIDI data. Adding some with some less intensity regarding the velocity, I guess.
Yep, exactly.
Some MIDI drops with less intensity.
It also has the feedback right here, and it also has, similar to the steps function right here, you can put in, I'll do 12 semitones because it's going to sound bad otherwise, and you will now hear it.
There we have it, our rain.
Yeah, it's very
Raindrops coming
sparkly,
Absolutely.
kind of fairy-like. And if you want to go crazy, we could put another arpeggiator behind that. It's maybe too slow, it doesn't play all the
So you
notes.
can put them in a chain, for example, and you have multiple ARPs
Yeah,
in a sequence. Oh, cool.
as many as your PC can handle.
I see. Okay, a lot of things to do. Okay. Changing up the speed.
Yeah, this is just the speed of the delay.
Yeah.
Or the note echo. But if you, for example, if you want to put up the gate so we have notes coming through all the time, get rid of this. And maybe even put that back down. And that's how easy it is. So you can get from nothing to something you can base a whole song on in like 2 minutes. You can play around with the MIDI effects. You see everything I put in here. There's also like velocity ones. If we have the arpeggiator going down to 0 velocity, you can hear the decay on it. And if we want to like randomize some velocity, we can go to velocity here. Maybe put the highest amount possible to 63 as well as the lowest to 63. So right now everything will be put out at the MIDI velocity of 63, but we can turn up the random to 64. So now every velocity will be randomized somewhere from 0 to 127. These are the most important ones. Other ones are MPE control. You can take MPE data from the MIDI clip and map it to something else, similar to the expression control. You can hear, maybe let me pause that.
It's a little bit
get
easier
annoying.
to follow.
Yeah, you can
Stopping
hear
the rain.
You can here select different MIDI sources like velocity, mod wheel, pitch bend, pressure, key track, expression. You can choose random, increment, slide, or sustain. And then you can, with this knob, map it to any control in Ableton. That's like the modular workflow of Ableton allows for that. If I have the map button blinking and I map it to this one, it will now react, the pre-delay of the reverb will now react to the MIDI velocity. How useful is that? Not really, just because it's a bad example. But you can think of a lot of things that would make sense, like mapping the velocity to a filter cutoff of a low pass. So the stronger you hit the key, the more open the filter will be. You can map something like pressure of the MPE control to a filter also. So the harder you press down after you initially hit the key, the filter will open. Maybe I can show that right now in another project. This one I think it was. Don't save, no need to save. It's this serum patch. You can here see the expression control and the slide mapped to macro 5 in serum. What is it? The main tuning. So if I slide, yeah, it's main tuning is modulated by LFO1, and the auxiliary source for the modulation is macro 5. So if macro 5 is at 0, the modulation is not active. If it's at max, the modulation kicks in at full strength. So if I slide my finger up the button, it will be vibrato. And that's the power of MPE. We have actually 3 dimensions. We can control the sound in aftertouch. Because after I initially touch, I have pressing down to open the filter. I have sliding left and right to control pitch. And I can slide up for the vibrato. So if we have a chord, if we want to do a slide, that's the power of MPE.
And a good combination with an external controller, like the Ableton Push.
Yeah.
So you can have all of these things in 1 or 2 movements, which is way easier than programming. Of course, you can do a lot by automation and everything, but
it misses the human touch sometimes.
Absolutely, the human touch and the feel for it, and the imperfection is a very good word. Yeah.
Keep in mind these things are very expensive. Ableton Push is around $1,000 right now.
Okay.
Just because then
maybe it's worth it.
Yeah. If it fits your style of making music, it will absolutely be worth it. The biggest problem I have with it is that I don't have enough hands.
Okay.
Sometimes I want to do like and then even to the pitch bend and
Okay.
some modulation up
so
here.
many
I need to turn the knob.
possibilities.
I need like 6 arms, and each arm needs to have 5 hands and 10 fingers to move everything I want.
Yes.
But it's not that you will run out of possibilities with
Sure.
this.
Yeah.
It's very capable.
Mm-hmm.
I could recommend for people that love performing live
Mm-hmm.
in the electronic side of music. If it's more classical, I would rely on a simple MIDI keyboard
Yeah, sure.
because it just is made for the classical approach to music. But this makes it easy and very intuitive to play. Ableton calls this even its own instrument because of the unique way you interact with it. I kind of agree. I like it. But yeah, it's expensive.
Mm.
Okay, we have now talked about MPE. If you want to hear like simple performance, I just press down 2 notes and like move my fingers with this one.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what you can get out of that already. And if we think like the vibrato is too much, let's not map it to the vibrato. Instead, let's map it to the filter frequency. Now we can hear it open and close.
Mm.
Yeah. And because the MPE, the MIDI data is recorded also, you have all the freedom to change what it modulates afterwards you've recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, do you want to continue
Sure.
from here? Because we've
Yeah.
talked a lot about MIDI, and maybe we
Absolutely,
want to
that's
go
totally
back to
fine.
the
Yeah,
classical
absolutely.
approach.
It's more. I think both words are worth their existence,
Yeah.
and sometimes they all come together. I remember us jamming before the workshop started. You put something on with E chords, and I did some lead sounds with E as well, and it just worked. So
Yeah.
that's cool. So when both worlds come together, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, I would like to go on with a little topic, which is sound layering, and then we'll take a short break and be
Yeah.
back. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you ready for a more epic song?
Epic.
More epic song. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
Give
cool.
it to me.
Yes, sure. So let's have a listen.
Ooh, I like that very much. The songwriting kind of reminds me of Bohemian Rhapsody, like the chord structure.
Yeah, there are some
The
Queen
modulations.
influences.
Yeah, I like
Oh.
that very much.
Thanks for pointing that out. So yeah, it's actually when we talk about the music theory and the background, there's a lot going on. I think I actually did a workshop based on the music structure of this song, and because there are not only standard chords, but we also have some church modes from
Dorian,
way
Lydian.
beyond time, Dorian, Mixolydian, and but I think that would go too far for today's session.
Yeah, that's not quite the topic.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
a song like this could
Yeah.
be worth its own workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we did. I think it was music theory for intermediate or advanced people.
Sounds
students. So
not basic.
we did a session on that, and yeah, it was really cool back then. So, but today is more about the actual sound. So if you listen to the band playing that song, of course, we have the drums, we have the bass guitar, and the usual electric guitar, and there is some string arrangement going on. But not only that. So I'll play what the keys does, or what I play when we do the song live. So it
it's
actually
again
sounds like that.
all played by you?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
well,
Yeah, sure.
Okay, respect it.
Yeah. And so on. There are a lot of tonal modulations going on.
Oh, the
And-
synth sounding once again. I
You
love
like it? That's cool. Okay, so if we take a listen to the sound, what can we hear? We have this huge orchestral patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piano, strings.
Exactly. So if we dive into the actual sounds, we have a piano.
Oh, so you did the layering.
Yep.
Ah, I see.
And then we have strings. Some more strings.
High strings.
And even some more strings.
Even higher ones.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but once again, it's about covering a high range of frequency.
Absolutely. And if you have to play keyboards in a rock band that plays live, you have to go into direct competition with them and play with them, of course, but also against their wall of sound.
Yeah.
So if I only play with this sound here, it sounds okay. It sounds okay on its own, but as soon as the guitarist kicks in and the bass player and the drummer, you won't hear anything from the keys anymore because it doesn't cut through.
Yeah, it will have
Yeah.
trouble cutting through.
Yeah. So what I actually intended was, my intention was to come up with a big layer. That's why I added a lot of these strings sounds. It's actually the same orchestral patch that I used, but I used it in different octave ranges. So we have the basic octave, we have one up, and even more one up.
So all the higher strings are just ensemble patches.
Yep,
One
exactly.
octave up, 2 octaves up.
Exactly. So they
I
sound
see.
like this. And to have a little bit more focus on the fundamentals and a little bit more definition of the tonal structure, I decided to add a piano as well to give it a little bit more definition. So it sounds like this. Especially in the low end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a piano, it's okay, but
the string
it lacks
with
power.
with a naturally like soft attack, and then
Yeah.
the piano with the
Stacky
more
and give it
staccato.
aggressive. Exactly. And you actually don't hear the piano in the full production that much because it's not meant to be a solo instrument here.
Yeah.
It's meant to support what's actually going on with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
orchestration.
and it does. It
Yeah.
does that job very good.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah, so
You mind-
that's a typical example of layering sounds to make them cut through in the mix. You can do it in the production process as well. When I go in the studio to record this song, I would probably use way more patches to make it even sound more and more and more powerful. for brass, but
Brass, yeah.
brass and maybe a little bit of timpani or something like that. But you have to be realistic when recreating the sound live on stage. You have to focus on the main parts, but you can still use sound layers to make your performance cut through in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mind playing it once again so we can now
Yeah.
maybe recognize the
Sure.
patch more?
Absolutely.
And then we will go into a short break.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Once again, I admire those modulations. Very nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. When you do songwriting, sometimes it's quite a challenge, but it might be nice to come up with something not so standard. So because you mentioned that you are not so really used of music theory and coming up, but I think Ableton does a really good job for you to add some variation, not only from the rhythmical point of view, but from the tonal expressions that you have and using the effects.
50-50, I think, because if you use things like the scale function, you're not going to modulate out of the scale simply because it's not possible.
Yeah.
You will need to go out of scale, and if you do that, you will need to know music theory or do a lot of trial and error. So in that regard, my approach to this has its downsides, but once again,
you can compensate it in a really great way.
Yeah, I just
what we already heard
with
today.
Sound design.
Yeah.
Okay. On the topic of sound design, let's get back after the break.
Sure. I might show a little bit more of some layering if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a lead sound and maybe an additional effect to a typical piano. But we can do it in a nutshell, so it's easy.
We're just gonna pick it up where we left off, and where we left off is layering, and Simon is going to continue with another example.
Exactly. So I already showed you an example with an orchestral patch, layering 3 orchestral string sounds with different octaves and the piano to have a very, very massive sound to compete.
Massive indeed.
Against your bandmates and to make it work on stage as well as in the studio. So let's take a look at the lead sound. Yeah, a layered lead sound, exactly. One of my lead synths that I play, and I have a short example. Let's have a listen and try to focus on the lead sound here.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Very short, but
short
very
sequence.
intense.
But okay. So we are. I think it's in G minor and C minor. Here the sound changes a little bit by playing, so it's not only the same sound, but there are some certain effects going on, some filters kicking in and the cutoff a little bit.
Is the filter like dependent on the note you play, like key
Absolutely.
tracking?
No, it's the velocity.
The velocity.
The velocity.
So the harder you press down, the more open the filter
exactly.
will be.
And one cool thing, the more notes I play, the more intense it actually reduces. So it's not like the intensity goes up, but it goes down. So when I play a lot of notes, so it decreases actually, like something like a fade out. Speaking of the intensity, so I think that's something cool here for this little sequence. So yeah, but talking about layers, once again, I have this typical patch. You can see how the sound changes.
We hear the filter.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also a layer of 3 lead sounds. First one.
Very saw-like with portamento.
Exactly. Second one.
Much more high pass.
Up. Yeah, absolutely. And the last one, let's go an octave down.
So is it once
Yeah.
again the same sound
It's-
layered in different octaves,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
is it different
It's
sounds?
3 times the same.
3 times the
The
same.
same layer, but the filters are not the same. So
Yeah, we
the
heard
structure
that.
is a little bit different. Yeah, but the basic sound that we hear is the same 3 times.
But once
Yeah.
again, it's I think the decision was consciously made
Mhm.
that you have 3 parts of the frequency spectrum covered with the low
Yep.
sound, the mid sound,
It's
and
a
the high sound.
Mhm.
So you once again cover a lot of ground to cut
Yep.
through with the whole band arrangement, and you are recognized on stage when playing live, and the guitars are playing,
Yeah.
and your sound will still cut through
Yeah,
by
it will cut
providing
through,
this bed of sound
Yep, true.
for the other sounds to lay on top of,
Yeah,
with much of the frequency spectrum covered. Yeah.
exactly. So that was the intention, to be able to play with the guys, but also make myself shine a little bit, especially when there is a lead sound. So it's a short sequence only, but well, I would like to say hello to everyone at this point. So not only playing, oh, he plays the piano, he plays the orchestra, or whatever, but if I take on the lead, it should be heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the
Absolutely.
idea. Yeah.
So you might recognize a pattern.
Yep.
Layering is often layering different sounds in different parts of the frequency spectrum in order to sound full.
Yep, absolutely. And now to something completely different, but it also has
Once
to do
again?
with layering. So it's from the same band, but a very mellow part. And there is a piano going on. Not only a piano, but we can focus on the piano for this example. But please have a listen what's going on in the background,
Okay.
sound-wise.
I see the colors fly. Pictures are passing by. The moment has come to say goodbye. A new reality, a recovered symmetry. I rise, wait for the sun to come again.
Okay.
So what I was able to pick out was once again, of course, the piano.
sure.
Not very hard to recognize that, but then also almost noise-like layer that still has some notes, some resonance that resemble a chord structure,
Yep,
sweeping in and sweeping out.
true.
And was there maybe another very laid-back layer that is just filling the
Yeah.
stage?
Yeah, it's a mixture of all of that, actually.
So
we
once
have-
again, 3 layers.
Yeah, I think it's one patch combined. So it was a preset that I tweaked a little bit, but I took most of it. So we have what you said, the foreground sound and the background sound. It's named as a class choir. So
Choir.
it sounds a little bit like a classy sound,
Yeah.
like a bold, classy sound, but also I don't know if we spot any vocal elements here. We can listen to the sound and the layers, but it's only one patch that does all of that at the same time. So yeah, when I came up with this idea, I thought about, that's a cool sequence, and the singer is doing a good job, but maybe I can try to make the piano sound a little bit more interesting
Yeah.
at this stage. it does do the trick for sure, but there's so much space left to fill out the gaps, fill in the gaps. So I decided to come up with a slight patch to support the piano. I play it to you.
Yeah, play it, please. Yeah, right there. If you focus on it, you can kind of hear some formant-ish sound character that
With the harmonics,
with
the
not
overtone structure.
closely, but somewhat resembles like a human voice.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the choir part.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Maybe it's just a name we actually don't know, but I think we take a deeper dive to the sound.
Yeah.
Maybe we can spot some.
So
vocal
we listen to the
elements.
layers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's only 2 layers: piano and the class choir.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, but yeah, just the piano.
I like the sound of that.
And now, what's interesting about our pad sound, I did a split. So I simply didn't just layer the piano with the class choir sound. If we remember my very first example of layering sounds, I had the piano and 3 orchestral patches, but all of them were assigned to the same keys. So the piano covers all 88 keys, and so did the orchestral patches. Only the octaves made a difference.
So if you, for example, play an A, it's going to play the A for the piano and the 3
exactly.
orchestral layers.
Yeah, very good. Very
yeah,
good.
I see.
Yeah, but this time, I noticed if I have the class choir do the whole job as well as the piano, it's too much. It's constantly covering too much of the piano frequencies. So I decided to cut the range a little bit. So for example, if I have the class choir patch soloed and I play something here, there's no sound.
Yeah, so it's split only to the lower part.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and also if you would combine it so that if you press one note, both patches would play.
Yeah.
They're so different, once again, from the sustain with the long attack to the staccato sound profile of the piano, then it wouldn't be quite connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And for this purpose, if we have the transients of the piano, they are right away here. But if we have this pad sound, this class choir sound, it takes some time to have a swell,
builds up,
a fade, and then the sound
opens.
even changes when it's going. Yeah. So if I just play this sequence, this piano sequence with only this pad sound, it sounds like this.
Yeah, you can make out the harmonics and the chord structure, but the sequence is completely lost.
Yep.
It sounds like you're just pressing down the chord.
Yeah.
Because of the long decay, slow attack.
Yeah. What I do here, before this little sequence gets repeated, I hold the keys and use the sustain pedal to have the swelling and to get it more intense, to raise the intensity. So in the end, with the piano, we have this shimmer effect or whatever, and it just gets more and more intense. and we restart. So it's going back. So
It reminds me of the what was it called? Pearl sound.
yeah,
you
yeah,
showed
from the
earlier?
beginning. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it was also like
Similar.
a slow attack, long decay, sparkly on top with the shimmer,
Yep.
going and leading into the next part. And
Yep.
it's the same concept once again.
Yep.
Just having this transitional sound to introduce and smooth the transition.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
we have had two approaches.
Yep.
One in a very full arrangement
Yep.
with the whole band, where we need to layer to cut through and be recognized.
Yep.
And the second one is when there's a lot of space, we can design it.
Yep.
We can have multiple layers doing different stuff,
Yep.
opposed to doing the same stuff layered to be more powerful. We have different elements combining and making the arrangement more interesting by having different timbres, different timings, different envelopes. So it comes together quite nicely
Yep.
to fill in everything, make it interesting.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
I'm happy.
Yeah, every example you showed this far, I loved the songwriting, I love the sound design.
Okay.
There's nothing much to say other than good job.
Yeah, well, I'm really
I
happy.
appreciate it.
Same to you. I really appreciate your world and your approach as well. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to what you are gonna say when I bring in the iPad, maybe as the final take for today. So this will be the grand final. Nothing really special, but I always like to add some controllers
Yeah.
besides the usual keyboard.
That's
Yeah.
like another instance of layering. If you have two controllers,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can layer
Yeah.
by doing different things.
But it's same for you. If you only have the DAW and then the push controller, as you showed, you can do 3, 4, 5, 6, 600 things at the same time. You need more arms and hands to do so.
Yeah.
So controllers are a really cool thing to
Yeah.
add some variety and make it sound more interesting.
I mean, MPE, which the
Yeah.
push is capable of, tries to combine this into one workflow where you can have multiple voices and tune them independently.
Yep.
You can slide one finger up, one finger down, and will diverge. The pitch will diverge to the new sound, which something like a classical keyboard cannot do.
Yep.
But that's exactly what MPE controllers are for. They will not be exactly the same, but the approach can be kind of similar.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So I'll pass on the torch
Once again, I will take it gladly. And yeah, Simon, his songwriting is supreme.
I don't know.
Mine
Maybe.
is
It's up to you to decide. But
yeah,
thanks so much.
inferior in most of the ways. I shine at sound design, and my last example for you is what you can do even if you have no idea about harmony, about music theory. If you have a look at the DAW, in this MIDI clip there's simply one note. We can open the MIDI clip. You see MPE pitch bend once again. For now I will just get rid of it so you can hear what it sounds like.
Oh wow, I love that sound.
That's a classic.
It reminds me
sound.
of I don't know if you know the song Euphoria by Loreen. It won the European Song Contest in 2000 and maybe 10 or 11 long ago, and it was one of the first songs, the first real successful electronic dance songs with a very, very epic touch. And yeah, she's really made it with that song, Euphoria.
I think I do not know. that
Okay,
one.
but it's almost the same sound, how the song kicks in. So lovely, really, really lovely.
A very strong intro, very strong sound.
Yeah.
It wasn't always when I first loaded up the patch of Operator once again, layered with a wavetable. That's simply the sub layer.
So it's an Ableton's oscillator or
Yeah, this is wavetable. Synth,
okay.
And this is I don't know what type of synth. It's subtractive synth.
Okay.
For all I know, it has filtering. oscillators, different
It doesn't look
waveforms.
super easy, but I
Nothing does in
appreciate
Ableton.
I appreciate the effort.
Ableton has it looks confusing if
There
you
can be
open
so many
it
things.
for people that don't know it, but it's designed to be very modular and very open to anything you want to create. If you have a closer look, you'll see you know all the controls like detune. This is pitching, octave, up, down, noise, level. You have ADSR, simple, VCA, another VCA filter. Yeah,
Cool. Basic structure
basic structure.
from OSC to filter.
Yeah, and the sound initially sounded like this.
Okay. Way different.
No, it's. I think it's the same. No difference at all.
A completely different world. But going from that to that super huge punchy sound, I think it's quite a journey.
Yeah, but that's what Ableton is good at.
Yeah.
Sound design.
Sure.
You can see here it's all Ableton stock plugins. We can go through one by one, but
Sure.
firstly,
Once
I
again.
will play it with the pitch envelope of the MPE, so you can hear how it comes up from -12 semitones, goes to the pitch itself, and then goes down by 1 semitone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can hear the sub also very heavily.
Is it an E? The
It
key
is
of
an
E?
E.
Yeah, sure.
It's not only the key of E, it's just E,
Yeah.
and then E an octave
Yeah.
lower.
Only the note.
You might have reckoned already it's very heavy on the left side, so I put it in mono before anything. Then a distortion with pedal.
Oh yeah.
There it begins,
There it begins.
and there it will end. This is hybrid reverb with a very short early reflections impulse response to make it wide. Dynamic tube. This adds a lot
Ooh.
of bias, which is
Okay.
this bite you can hear. Then OTT to
Ah.
bring up the highs.
What is OTT?
This is a multiband compander, so
okay.
compression and expansion
Yeah.
in multiband.
Mm-hmm.
OTT is just a very famous preset. It
Mhm.
stands for over the top. it's over the top multiband compression.
Sure.
Going into another distortion unit, raw. It's multiband distortion with the shards algorithm, the poly, and the noise algorithm. Once again, adding a bit of raw, I want to call it, very fittingly to the device name. Then another amp.
Oh wow.
There we go into heavy territory. Another overdrive kind of tames the high end.
Yeah, a lot of grit is filtered out.
A lot of grid.
Mm-hmm.
Analog clipping saturation.
Saturation. Mm-hmm.
Another overdrive.
Okay.
And there it starts.
The overdrive does also a lot of gain. Is it correct?
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
Without
Yeah.
once
Wow.
again distorting. Then I got rid of some of the level because it went too hot into the next distortion
Oh,
unit.
that's the EQ.
That's simply EQing, a bit of mid and high
Simple.
mid boosting.
Yeah.
Going into wave shaping.
Oh yeah.
Now it's heavy.
Yeah.
And this is basically the sound, just adding an echo. And right here, reverb. Once again, the hybrid reverb. I think, it's only impulse response with the halls and the Berlin Hall.
Okay.
Impulse response together.
Yeah.
This also reminds me like of Independence Day.
Yeah.
With the alien ship landing. Or if you know the...
Or Euphoria by Loreen.
I do not know
Very
that
first
one.
note. I'll show you later on.
Yeah. But without the MPE pitch bend, it's fine. It sounds like a big brass section,
Yeah.
distorted. But only when I integrate the MPE pitch bend, it becomes this roaring sound effect.
Reminds me a little bit of granular synthesis.
Yeah, I get why, because it
little
has
bit.
so much grit, and
Mm.
granular creates this grit by playing just very small snippets of sound,
Mm-hmm.
and with the very hard modulation coming from the distortion, it can sound gritty as well.
Mm. Mhm.
If you play it an
Wow.
octave lower, it's even more becoming even more apparent. Yeah, but it's sci-fi horror.
Definitely.
And remind you, this is only one single note.
Yeah.
There is literally zero.
Distortion, saturation, the amp and everything, adding
Yeah.
harmonics and grit and yeah.
There's virtually zero
Yeah.
musical knowledge involved with this.
Yeah, but it's totally fine. But your
Yeah.
chain is impressive. So it's like 10, 12, 15, I don't know, whatever
Around
effects,
that, yeah.
plugins, sound shaping tools. No Serum. I think it's not Omnisphere, it's not Serum, it's just
No.
stock.
Ableton
Stock plugins.
plugins
Easy.
with heavy saturation over and over again.
Wow.
EQ over the top.
Okay.
Multiband companionship.
Yeah. Well, what we know now.
Yeah, and then simply going into a limiter
Okay.
to bring it up to level.
Uh-huh.
And that's the whole sound. So you don't need to
Yeah.
create a lot of layers. You can
Yeah.
get like the timbre and the overtones, the harmonics out of something like saturation, distortion, overdrive. But you also don't need to know any music theory.
Mm.
If you maybe had some ambience, some noise layers
Mhm.
to create a background atmosphere, this would suit in like a techno intro. You could have a minute of this going with some background noises, maybe a riser, build up, and that could be the
Mhm.
whole thing. You don't need any melodic elements. You just need sound design to make it interesting.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that concludes
Amazing.
it for me.
Sure.
Do you want to
Very
show
nice.
anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. I brought an iPad
Oh yeah, I remember.
as an additional controller,
Not MIDI controller.
not a MIDI controller. It's actually running an app called Sample Wiz by Jordan Rudess, who is the keyboard player most famous for Dream Theater, and he also found a brand for apps. So he does Sample Wiz, Morph Wiz, GeoShred, and whatsoever. And I actually like Sample Wiz the most, because you have, I'll show you in a nutshell, you have a keyboard controller, but what's really cool is that you have a seamless transition. So like the portamento style, which might not be very authentic on the real keyboard, and you can do it on a touch screen.
Like the MP
Yeah,
print?
yeah, exactly what you showed us before.
I see.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And some other cool things that I'm going to show you now. So I would say before diving in, I'll just play the little sequence that I prepared, and then we talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have a listen.
Let's see if you still like it. If not, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
sustain.
I did enjoy. I love the ethereal vibe.
Hmm.
I'm kind of lifting, kind of dreamy.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Makes me kind of dizzy.
Hmm.
Like, my nervous system is shutting down.
Calming down
Like,
and going into a
this is
relaxed state
it.
of mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I can almost see me doing this for 2 hours to this kind of music. But
Yeah.
the combination between the pad
Yeah.
and the lead sound
Yeah.
on the iPad,
Yeah.
very nice.
They complement each other, and yeah.
They do.
Speaking of the app, actually I created the sound myself.
Oh, is it like a synth?
Yeah, it was a synth sound. I think it was a layered synth sound. I recorded it in Cubase, maybe 4 to 5 layers, and I did a little bit of EQing and just took one note for I think 12 seconds, exported it, brought it into the iPad,
Yeah.
and then did some tweaking like modulation, adding effects like reverb and delay, and
I see.
trying to shape the sound to have that ethereal vibe that you described. And the cool thing about the iPad controller, if I push here, it's okay. But if I go up on the key, it not even gets louder, but we have this, like before, this glass choir-esque sound that's coming into play. So if we combine it with the patch, with the pad, and the delay and reverb and whatever, so it's really cool to fill out the background and everything. Also the delays, I think it's a stereo delay, it's wandering from left to right in addition. So that's a really cool way. And yeah, we also have the option of a seamless transition. Okay, it's not seamless for
because
this
you put
patch,
in a sample.
but yeah, exactly, sure.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah, that's really cool depending on the sound. And
If it was synthesized, then it would be seamless. Like
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's speaking of the controller. Instead of the simple keyboard, I think it's cool to have the touch control, like Ableton Push as well with the knobs and the patches. But with the touch screen, you simply have some more options to make it sound cool and sound interesting in the end.
in that regard, it's quite similar actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you have the side-to-side movement, you have the
Yeah.
up and down movement.
Yeah.
The only thing that's missing is like the 3D touch. If you push down harder, the filter opens, for example.
Yeah.
I think maybe with the newer models there is 3D touch.
Yeah, probably.
And maybe that's also integrated into an app.
So they're quite similar, and yeah, I try to use it for different sounds. For example, I have a real heavy example, maybe so for the final take for today. So after the ethereal, heavenly vibes going on, now everybody's going to wake up.
Yeah, just put him to sleep and then shock the hell out of him.
Yeah, exactly. So if we have this one here.
No one wins failure.
So you played the ARP on the iPad?
The lead.
Yeah.
The lead.
I'm kidding.
The lead.
I reckon the guitar-ish sound
Yeah, exactly.
sounds very distorted.
So totally different feel here. It's a very, very distorted. It's a naughty, dirty lead sound. It was actually a stock sound. I didn't create it myself. It's a stock sound. And I tweaked it a little bit, of course. But yeah, it's... I was happy how it was, so I took it, and now it's
absolutely
one of
fitting.
the signature sounds for that song.
People not in the knowing will most likely assume it's a guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we have the seamless transition that I can show you. I just play it, the little sequence,
Go
then
ahead,
I'll show
please.
you. Okay, playing wasn't really good this time because it's quite hard to play on the iPad. Usually I stand, then I come from above, so it's
Yeah.
easier to play. But the actual thing that I would like to point out is this one here. So we have a real seamless transition.
Yep.
Also going up a semitone. And if you stay long enough on the key, there are some dirty harmonics coming into play.
Yeah, dirty it is.
This lead sound really cuts through in the mix wherever you
I
are.
imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite dangerous. Yeah.
Quite sharp.
Quite sharp. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
A lot
I had
of
a lot
great
of
examples by you.
joy and happiness and finding out about your world, making crazy stuff out of almost nothing.
Yeah.
Like you have just a sine wave or whatever, and in the end you have that huge patch. Yeah.
It's like a wizard.
Amazing.
There's thin air, and then
Yeah.
he just takes like a feather or even a bird,
Yeah.
and then it's there. And that's what it's like to work with only MIDI. You don't need to know, you don't need to practice, you can
Yeah.
just go in there, do stuff, experiment, and then get something that works. I mean, it will not be the same as you. You put in the work,
Yeah.
and that
Different worlds.
is
Yeah.
recognizable.
Yeah.
The composition is rather complex compared to mine.
It's
But-
not about comparison. It's about working together, for example,
Yeah.
and to appreciate everyone's own lane and range, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I do think we can compare it, but it's
Yep.
not a competition, but we can
Absolutely.
compare it like in the sense that it comes from different music, it creates different music, and that's just two different approaches for you to take home and practice or experiment around with for you today. I hope you learned something, maybe even a lot. That would be awesome. I had a lot of fun. Simon
Same
already
here.
said he had fun.
Yeah.
And we hope you at home did too. We wish you a great rest of your day and
See you all soon.
see you soon.
Bye bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.